Febrie Adriansyah was one of the most powerful prosecutors in Indonesia. He served as Jampidsus, short for Jaksa Agung Muda Tindak Pidana Khusus. In simple terms, the Jampidsus is a senior official responsible for handling major special crime cases, particularly serious corruption cases. So this is not an ordinary government position, right? Febrie was part of the institution responsible for investigating and prosecuting some of Indonesia's biggest corruption cases. Then in July 2026, everything changed. Indonesian police investigators had been investigating several major corruption cases, including cases connected to PT Asabri, Krakatau Steel, and coal procurement related to PLN. During a series of searches, investigators discovered enormous amounts of cash and gold. One of the most important searches took place at a house in Sentul. Febrie acknowledged that the house was his. Inside, investigators found approximately 74 kilograms of gold, along with US dollars, Singapore dollars, and Indonesian Rupiah. The case subsequently developed into an investigation into alleged money laundering. There are two reasons this case is particularly explosive. First, the person involved was a senior anti-corruption prosecutor, right? The public expects officials whose job is to fight corruption to maintain an especially high standard of integrity. So an official who previously stood on the prosecution side of major corruption cases becomes a corruption and money laundering suspect. People naturally ask, right, who is supposed to supervise the people responsible for supervising everyone else? Second, the alleged financial scale is enormous. We're not talking about a few hundred million rupiah. We're talking about 74 kilograms of gold and hundreds of billions of rupiah in cash and other assets. Right? Febrie has denied that the 74 kilograms of gold belongs to him. So investigators still have to establish the connection between Febrie and the alleged criminal activity and the assets. Right? Let's look at the numbers. Investigators reported finding approximately 74 kilograms of gold. They also found approximately 4.77 million US dollars and 14 million Singaporean dollars and approximately 100 million rupiah at the Sentul location. Across the various searches connected with the investigation, the value of the assets and cash was reported to be approximately 476 billion rupiah. To put it into perspective, there is an amount of money that is difficult for Indonesians to comprehend, right? This is not simply a large bank balance. A significant portion was reportedly held in physical gold and physical cash. That makes the question of origin particularly important. If someone legitimately owns hundreds of billions of rupiah in assets, there should normally be an understandable explanation, right? Where did the money come from? How was it earned? Who owns it? Why was it stored in that house there, right? And are the documents proving the legitimate source? This is where we need to understand what money laundering actually means. It generally involves taking assets connected to criminal activity and concealing, disguising, transferring, using, or otherwise dealing with those assets in a way that obscures their criminal origin, right? So investigators don't simply need to say there was 74 kilograms of gold. They need to establish a chain of criminal activity, illicit proceeds, connection to the assets, possession, transfer, concealment, or use of those assets. That chain of evidence is extremely important, right? As of today, Febrie has been detained at a KPK detention facility and remains a suspect. He was questioned again by investigators on August 7. His lawyers maintain that he's not the owner of the 74 kilograms of gold. Meanwhile, investigators continue questioning witnesses and gathering evidence concerning the alleged money laundering. So there has also been a major legal development from Febrie's side. His lawyers have filed two pretrial applications known as pra-peradilan. Think of this as a court mechanism allowing a suspect to challenge certain actions taken by investigators. It's not the same thing as a full criminal trial. So the question is not simply is Febrie guilty. Instead, the court can examine whether certain investigative actions, such as the determination of a suspect status or other procedural measures, were legally valid. The Febrie Adriansyah case is extraordinary because it combines a former senior anti-corruption prosecutor, major corruption investigations, 74 kilograms of gold and billions of rupiah, and allegations of money laundering.